Well, this is a video that I don't think is anything new that we haven't talked about before, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. But with the season finale dropping in a couple of days, do you feel like any of the long drawn out plot points slash questions that we went into the season with will finally be resolved slash answered? And in my opinion, no. I feel like we are going to get to the season finale, and these writers are going to do what Tyler Perry does, and that's hit the reset button on any potential storylines or development or changes with the characters to reestablish the status quo before we go into season 9. Things like, I thought Tony and Danny were kaputs, but now it's like they might try to get back together. The question is Danny going to accept the proposal? Which, look, I don't want these two back together, but let me put it this way. If I had to choose and I didn't have the option of these two staying broken up, I'd much rather see Tony and Danny just hit the refresh button on their relationship, because there is absolutely no good reason for Danny to accept Tony's proposal. When it comes to Rich, I have no earthly idea why he's come back to her apartment to declare that he still loves her and you're still my girl. After everything regarding the sperm situation and the month of ghosting her after she said, I choose me, it seems like these women are potentially going to get everything they want, even though they don't deserve it. Now, of course, the two other biggest things, which have been, oh man, the themes of the season. Will we finally learn who stabbed Gary? I think before Wednesday comes, I need to do a video about, hey, here's everyone who did not stab Gary, because it seems that this season has done everything but tell us who actually did it. Tamara showed up to expose Gary to Andy, his future bride, to let him know, hey, we've been screwing around, thinking it would sabotage their marriage before it started. Hayden just recently revealed, I grabbed the knife and I was going to F you up, but I decided you're not going to jail for it. Then you have Jordan saying, hey, even though I just tried to strangle him in the hospital, I didn't stab him that night. Penelope was covered in blood, but she doesn't remember if she did it or not. And the list goes on. But we still have yet to find out who actually did it. Maybe Hudson will finally reveal it when he has the gun pointed on Gary, because like with Hayden, every villain has to monologue. And when Hudson has that gun, he's not just going to shoot Gary. He's going to exposit. He's going to monologue. He's going to talk about everything he's done for Gary, how he's been wronged, and why firing him was a huge mistake. I have nothing left to lose, blah, 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 blah. You know how antagonists do. And to the Lord, I know people hate this storyline, but I don't think Karen is going into labor. I don't think she's going into labor. Wait a minute. If memory serves, when I look at the breakdown, the notes in my trailer breakdown, I don't even think Sabrina Hudson, right? Yeah, I don't even think Karen was in the trailer. The end credit promo or the 15-second promo for next week's episode. Yes, I don't know what Karen could be doing. So, yeah, I don't think her water is going to break or anything. I think we're going to go into season 9 and she's still going to be pregnant. Because I just honestly don't see... I don't see it. Because the writers freaked up because she went into false labor in the mid-season finale, if I remember correctly. So for her to go into real labor during the finale, it's like, nah, like, y'all dropped the ball. You should have just left the false contractions alone and only did it for the real thing. So I mentioned several times over the past couple weeks that the writers implementing the 1 month time jump was a huge mistake, because in the storyline, it made no sense because, okay, we skipped forward a month, yet Gary's memories are still messed up. Karen is still pregnant, yet her baby bump is even smaller than it was when the season started. We still don't know who stabbed Gary. Hayden still has bruises from a beatdown he endured a month ago. And the list goes on. It's like these writers purposefully did this time jump to introduce like 50 new questions without answering anything we had questions about beforehand. Because the biggest fear is that season 8 is going to come to an end. However, none of the plot points will be resolved, which in hindsight means season 8 was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time. It's completely skippable. But of course, Wednesday night is when we can sit back and, really evaluate if that statement is true or not. But it just honestly feels like this season, when it went in with the who stabbed Gary, and we're never going to find out. Because now it's like Gary is going to have a gun pointed at him. This is after the IV was drugged. This is after Jordan tried to strangle him. This is after he had the seizure from the drugs planted in his IV. This is after he died during the surgery. Because remember, the doctor said when he was having surgery after, when he got to the hospital from the stabbing, he technically died on the table but came back to life. And the list goes on. I think during a Twitter space I did yesterday, I counted close to like 8 or 9 different variations of Gary either being on the verge of dying or dying, but then healing. And it's like, that undermines the stabbing. So it's like, after all that time, Gary has died or almost come close to death X amount of time since the stabbing, and he made it through, and we still don't know who stabbed him. So in hindsight, it doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't. I mean, obviously, it's going to matter because Jordan, they're trying to pin the attempted murder on him because he was caught trying to strangle him. But if he didn't do the stabbing, I mean, he's charged with assault, but his intent was to kill Gary when he strangled him. So wouldn't he still be charged with attempted murder? Because they stopped him from doing it. I don't know. The justice system in this show is weird. But yeah, I just feel like the biggest mistake is adding in the whole Andy is going to be abducted and who did it. We don't need this. This feels incredibly forced and unnecessary. And it just makes me wonder, what exactly are we to expect once season 9 comes? This is just so crazy. But hey, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Let me know your thoughts, please. I feel like this season is going to be the biggest waste of time ever.